The Shadow's Duty. The candles flickered in the chamber as High Lord Thorn paced before the obsidian table. Your target is Princess Aria, he said, sliding a sealed parchment toward me. The purple witch of the eastern spires. I took the scroll, without emotion, revealing nothing of my thoughts. May I ask why the princess requires elimination? I questioned, my voice steady as the blade at my hip. She is not what she seems. Thorn replied, his eyes narrowing. Reports indicate she possesses magic that threatens our kingdom's very foundation. He gestured to the map spread across the table. She returns from diplomatic journey tomorrow and will reside in the North Tower for one night before meeting the council. He tapped a finger against the parchment. That is your window, Kai. I nodded once, accepting my duty as I always had for 15 years since the Order of the Midnight Veil took me in, when I was merely a street urchin with nothing but hunger in my belly and rage in my heart. Do not fail us, Thorn added. The future of Ardenia depends on your success. I departed without another word, making my way through the hidden passages beneath the citadel, my footsteps silent on the ancient stone. The Order had been the kingdom's unseen protectors for centuries, eliminating threats before they could manifest, from rival kingdoms to corrupt officials to dangerous magic users. In my quarters, I prepared methodically, laying out my tools with practiced precision: smoke powder for quick escapes, sleeping draft for the guards, a blade of shadow steel forged to leave no trace. The princess would not see me coming, would not feel anything but a moment's peace before darkness claimed her. As twilight settled, I dressed in the Order's ceremonial attire, black leather armor embossed with silver runes designed to deflect magic, a hood that concealed all but my eyes, and finally my mask carved from nightwood showing nothing but severe angles and cruel purpose. Dr. Chen, my only friend within the Order, entered without knocking. I heard about your assignment, he said quietly, setting a small vial on my desk. Take this before you go. I examined the swirling blue liquid. What is it? Protection, he murmured. Against magic. His eyes wouldn't meet mine. The princess, they say her power is unlike anything we've encountered. You believe the rumors? I asked, securing my final dagger. I believe something is not right with this mission, Dr. Chen replied. I've known you since you were a boy, Kai. You've never questioned an assignment. And I'm not questioning this one, I said firmly. Maybe you should, he countered. Why now? After all these years of peaceful relations with the East, why suddenly declare their princess a threat? I paused, my hand stilling over my weapons. The Order sees what others cannot. I recited the words I'd been taught since childhood. We act when others hesitate. We protect the realm from shadows unseen. Dr. Chen sighed. Just be careful. The Council has been acting strangely since Ambassador Sorn returned from the Eastern Spires last month. He placed a hand on my shoulder. Promise me you'll observe before you act. I nodded, though my mind was already focused on the mission ahead. As darkness fell, I slipped through the city unnoticed, a ghost among shadows. The castle loomed before me, its white walls gleaming in the moonlight. The North Tower, where my target awaited, rose highest of all, piercing the night sky, like an accusing finger. Guards patrolled in predictable patterns, easily avoided. The castle's defenses were designed to stop armies, not a single shadow. I scaled the outer wall using handholds invisible to untrained eyes and made my way across the rooftops. The princess's chamber window glowed with soft light. I perched on a nearby ledge, studying the silhouette that moved within. A woman alone, pacing restlessly. I withdrew my blowpipe and a dart tipped with sleeping poison. One shot would render the guards outside her door unconscious. As I prepared to move closer, the window suddenly opened, and there she stood, Princess Aria of the Eastern Spires. Her skin shimmered with a faint purple glow in the moonlight, her eyes searching the darkness as if sensing my presence. I know you're out there, she called, her voice carrying on the night breeze. Whoever you are, I've been waiting for you. I froze, becoming one with the shadows, my breath slowing to nothing. Please, she continued, her hands gripping the windowsill. If you've come from the council, I need to speak with you before you do what they've asked. How could she know? I wondered, my mind racing. Was this the dangerous magic I'd been warned about? Or something else entirely? I hesitated, remembering Dr. Chen's words. Observe before you act, against my training, against everything I'd been taught. I moved forward into the light. Whispers in the tower. Princess Arya did not scream when I appeared at her window. She merely stepped back, allowing me entrance. So they finally sent someone. She said, her voice steady despite the danger before her. I expected you sooner. I remained, silent, drawing my blade in one fluid motion. The moonlight caught its edge, casting silver reflections across her chamber walls. I studied her carefully. This woman with her flowing dark hair and eyes that seemed to hold galaxies within them, her skin had a subtle purple hue that seemed to pulse with each heartbeat. You're from the Order. She continued, moving to pour wine into 2 goblets, as if entertaining a guest rather than facing an assassin. The midnight veil sends its shadows when the council fears what it cannot control. I kept my distance, watching her every movement. How do you know of the Order? I demanded. Our existence is known only to the highest members of the court. She smiled sadly, offering me a goblet, which I did not take. My father told me before they poisoned him. She set my untouched wine aside. He said when they finally decided I was too dangerous to live, they would send someone like you, a shadow with eyes that have seen too much death. Your father died of fever, I stated, recalling the official accounts. Is that what they told you? Arya asked, moving to a chest by her bed. She withdrew a journal bound in leather. Read this before you kill me, then decide if your blade serves justice or tyranny. I should have struck then. Completed my mission without hesitation. But something in her eyes held me. Something that spoke of truth. You have 1 minute, I said, not lowering my weapon. The Eastern Spires have always had magic in their bloodline, she explained quickly. Not the dark sorcery your council claims, but something else. The ability to see truth, to peer through deception. She gestured to her faintly glowing skin. My color marks me as the strongest in generations. That's why Ambassador Soren fears me. That's why the council wants me dead. You speak treason, I warned. Though doubt had begun to creep into my mind, I speak truth, she countered, and truth is what the council fears most. She stepped closer, her movement causing my blade to touch her throat. Kill me if you must, but know that you're silencing the only voice that can prevent war. A single drop of blood appeared where my blade pressed against her skin. Yet she did not flinch, did not look away. Her eyes held mine unwavering. Kai, she whispered. My body tensed. How do you know my name? I told you, she replied. I can see truth, even the truth you hide behind that mask. Her hand rose slowly, touching my covered cheek. You were taken from the eastern border villages, weren't you? Your parents killed in the raid 16 years ago. My blade trembled for the first time in my life. That's impossible, I breathed. No one knows that. No one. I know because it was my father who tried to save your village, Arya said, her eyes filling with tears. The same raids the council blamed on eastern marauders were orchestrated by their own generals to create fear, to justify military expansion. You lie, I hissed, though uncertainty gnawed at my resolve. Search your memories, Kai, she urged. What do you remember of that night? Not what they told you happened, but what you saw with your own eyes. Unwanted images flashed through my mind. Soldiers in armor I'd always believed belonged to Eastern warriors. But now looking back, the insignia was different. The uniforms not quite what I'd been told. They've been lying to you, Arya continued, to all of us for generations. A sound from the hallway broke the moment, guards approaching. For their regular patrol, I stepped back into shadow, my training taking over. You have until dawn, I said, sheathing my blade. Convince me. Arya nodded, retrieving her father's journal and pressing it into my hands. Read this, then meet me at the eastern parapet at first light. I slipped out the window as silently as I had come, finding a secluded alcove in the castle's architecture, where I could read undisturbed. The journal's pages confirmed my worst fears. Detailed accounts of council, meetings, secret orders for raids against innocent villages, a systematic campaign to vilify the Eastern Spires while stealing their resources. As dawn approached, I returned to Arya's chamber, finding her dressed for travel, a small pack by her side. "Have you decided?" she asked, seeing the journal in my hand. "The council will never let you speak," I said, removing my mask for the first time. "They'll kill you before you reach the court." She stepped forward, studying my uncovered face. Her fingers touched my cheek gently. "Then help me escape, help me gather evidence to expose them." "They'll hunt us both," I warned. "The order does not tolerate betrayal." "Is it betrayal to turn from lies toward truth?" she asked, her eyes searching mine. A moment passed between us, charged with something I could not name. Then footsteps, heavy and purposeful, echoed in the corridor outside. "Commander Rena." Arya whispered, "She's early." I moved swiftly to the door, pressing my ear against it. 6 guards, I reported, heavily armed. "They're not here for regular protection," Arya said, her face paling. "They've come to ensure I never reach the council meeting. We need to leave now," I decided, drawing my blade. "There's a servant's passage behind the tapestry." Arya looked surprised. "How do you know that?" "I've studied every inch of this castle," I replied, allowing myself a small smile. "I'm very good at what I do." A pounding at the door startled us both. "Princess Arya," came Commander Rena's voice. "By order of the High Council, you are to be escorted to the dungeons pending investigation for treason." Arya's eyes met mine, fear and determination mingling. "I trust you, Kai." Those words struck deeper than any blade could have in 15 years of service to the Order. No one had ever said such a thing to me. I nodded once, pulling the tapestry aside to reveal the hidden passage. "Stay close," I whispered, taking her hand. As we disappeared into the darkness, I heard the chamber door splinter open, Commander Rena's voice rising in alarm. "The princess is gone, find her now." For the first time in my life, I was running from my duty, from everything I'd been taught to believe, but with Arya's hand in mine, it felt strangely like running toward something instead. Something I'd been seeking all along. Moonlit escape. The servants' passage twisted through the castle's forgotten spaces, narrow corridors thick with cobwebs and memories of secrets long buried. "How did you know about these passages?" Arya whispered as we descended a crumbling staircase, her hand gripping mine in the darkness. "I memorized every blueprint, every rumor of this castle before I came for you," I replied, guiding her around a collapsed section. "The Order trains us to know our hunting grounds better than those who built them." A distant clanging of armor echoed through the stone walls. Commander Rena mobilizing her forces. I paused at a junction, listening to the patterns of movement above us. "They've sealed the main gates," I said. "We'll need another way out." Arya's skin glowed faintly in the darkness, providing just enough light to see her determined expression. "There's an old aqueduct beneath the eastern garden," she offered. "It connects to the river beyond the city walls. My father showed me when I was a child." I raised an eyebrow. "You've planned for escape before." "I've lived as a prisoner in a golden cage since my father died," she responded. "Of course I've planned." We moved swiftly through the passage, emerging behind a large ornamental bush in the eastern garden. The night was fading, the first hints of dawn coloring the horizon. "We have minutes before the changing of the guard," I warned, scanning our surroundings. Arya pointed to an ancient stone structure partially hidden by flowering vines. "There, the entrance is beneath those stones." As we crossed the garden, a shout rang out. Guards had spotted us from the ramparts above. "Run," I commanded, pulling Arya toward the aqueduct. Commander Rena's voice cut through the night. "Archers, ready, there they are. Shoot the princess. Leave the assassin to me." Arrows whistled through the air. I pulled Arya behind a statue just as several shafts splintered against the stone. "Stay down," I ordered, drawing my crossbow. I fired 2 shots in quick succession. 2 guards fell from the ramparts. You didn't kill them. Arya observed surprise in her voice. Sleeping darts. I explained. I save death for those who truly deserve it. We reached the aqueduct entrance, a heavy stone cover blocking our path. I braced myself, lifting with all my strength. The cover moved just enough for Arya to slip through. Go, I urged. I'll follow. As she disappeared into the darkness below, a figure landed heavily behind me. I spun, blade drawn to find Commander. Rena herself, her armor gleaming in the early dawn light, her sword pointed at my chest. Traitor, she spat. The Order raised you, fed you, trained you, and this is how you repay your debt. The Order lied, I replied, circling carefully. About everything. About the Eastern Spires, about the princess. Rena laughed, a cold sound. So she's bewitched you already? How disappointing. I expected better from Lord Thorne's favorite assassin. No magic involved, I countered. Just truth. Something you've forgotten. How to recognize. Her eyes narrowed. Truth is what the Council declares it to be, what the Order enforces. The princess is dangerous to the realm's stability. Because she knows what really happened to her father, I challenged. Because she can expose the Council's corruption. Rena attacked without warning, her blade slicing through the air, where I had stood a moment before. I parried, deflecting her strength rather than matching it. She was larger, stronger, but I was quicker, trained in the shadows while she fought in the light. You cannot escape, she growled, pressing her advantage. The Order has eyes everywhere. Even if you flee the kingdom, they will find you. Perhaps, I acknowledged, delivering a kick to her knee that sent her stumbling backward. But by then the truth will already be spreading. She recovered quickly, charging with renewed fury. Our blades met in a shower of sparks. I twisted away her sword, grazing my shoulder, drawing first blood. The pain focused my mind. I dropped low, sweeping her legs from beneath her. As she fell, I struck with the pommel of my blade against her temple. She collapsed unconscious but breathing. I would not kill a soldier simply following orders, even misguided ones. I slipped through the aqueduct entrance, pulling the cover closed behind me. The channel below was dark and damp, but Arya waited, her purple glow illuminating the ancient stonework. You're hurt, she said, noticing my bloodied shoulder. It's nothing, I assured her, but we must move. Commander Rena will not remain unconscious for long. We followed the aqueduct, the sound of flowing water growing louder. Eventually, the narrow passage opened to a wider channel where the castle's wastewater joined the river. Beyond the city walls, the smell was unpleasant, but the promise of freedom made it bearable. We need to reach the forest, I explained as we waded through the shallow water. I have supplies hidden there, enough to get us to the border. The border? Arya questioned. You would leave Ardinia? The Council's influence ends at the mountains, I replied. Beyond that, we might find allies, perhaps even evidence to support your claims. We emerged from the aqueduct as the sun breached the horizon, casting long shadows across the landscape. The forest lay a mile ahead across open farmland, a dangerous crossing with no cover. They'll be watching the roads, Arya said, her eyes scanning the fields before us. I nodded. Which is why we won't use them. I pointed to irrigation ditches cutting through the fields. They'll provide some cover. It won't be comfortable. Comfort is a luxury for those not running for their lives, she responded with unexpected humor. We made our way through the ditches, mud and water soaking our clothes but concealing our scent from the tracking hounds I knew would soon follow. The sun climbed higher in the sky as we approached the forest edge. Birds scattered at our approach, a warning that something had disturbed them. Down, I whispered, pulling Arya into the mud as a patrol of mounted guards thundered past on the nearby road. Their cloaks bore the insignia of the Order, my former brothers in arms, now my hunters. When they had passed, we continued, reaching the forest by midday. The dense canopy provided welcome shade and better concealment. I led Arya to a hollow tree where a waterproof pack awaited food, water, clean clothes, and basic medical supplies. "You're remarkably prepared," she observed as I retrieved the pack. "The order teaches us to plan for contingencies," I explained, "including our own potential compromise." Arya watched as I dressed my wound, her eyes troubled. "They'll never stop hunting us, will they?" "No," I admitted, securing a bandage. "The order cannot allow either of us to live now we know too much." She sat beside me on a fallen log, accepting the dried meat and bread I offered. "Then we need allies, people who will listen, people who can help spread the truth." "I know someone," I said after a moment's consideration. "A former member of the order who left years ago, Dr. Chen. He helps me, sometimes provides information. The council believes him loyal, but his heart belongs to justice, not power." "Can we trust him?" Arya asked. "As much as I trust anyone," I replied. She reached for my hand, her fingers intertwining with mine. "You trust me?" She said it wasn't a question. I looked at her truly. Looked at the woman I had been sent to kill. Her eyes held no deception, no manipulation, only a fierce determination that matched my own. "Yes," I admitted, surprising myself. "I do." Her other hand rose to my face, fingers tracing the scar along my jaw. "I've seen your face in dreams," she whispered. "For years I thought they were nightmares. A dark figure coming for me, but now I understand they were warnings, preparation." "For what?" I asked, my voice dropping lower. "For this moment," she replied, leaning closer. "When everything changes." Her lips met mine, gentle at first. Then with growing urgency. I had known desire before, but nothing like this. Nothing that felt like finding something I hadn't known was missing. My arms encircled her, pulling her against me as if she might disappear if I let go. When we finally parted, both breathless, she smiled. "The order didn't teach you that." I laughed quietly. "No. That was definitely not part of my training." A branch snapped nearby instantly. I was on my feet, blade drawn, Arya rising beside me. We listened, hearing the unmistakable sound of armored men moving through the forest. "They've found us," I whispered, gathering our meager supplies. "We need to move deeper into the forest. There's an old temple 5 miles east. If we can reach it by nightfall, we might find sanctuary." Arya nodded, her expression resolute. "Then we run." Hand in hand, we plunged into the forest, leaving behind everything we had known, racing toward an uncertain future. But for the first time in my life, uncertainty felt like freedom, not a void to be feared, but a canvas waiting to be painted. And despite the danger, despite the hunters at our heels, I found myself smiling. Heart of the storm. The ancient temple rose before us, weathered stone embraced by centuries of forest growth. This was sacred to both kingdoms, I explained as we approached the moss-covered entrance. Before the wars, before the hatred. Thunder rumbled overhead as storm clouds gathered, mirroring the tension in our flight. We had narrowly evaded 3 patrols, our pursuers drawing ever closer like the tightening of a noose. Inside the temple, air hung heavy with history. Faded murals depicted scenes of unity between East and West. "My ancestors," Arya whispered, tracing the painted figures with gentle fingers. "And yours together." "Impossible," I murmured, though the evidence stood before me. "The division was manufactured," she insisted, "to control both kingdoms, your order and my court puppets in a larger game." We made camp in the temple's inner sanctuary as rain lashed against stone. Lightning illuminated fragments of the past through broken windows. "You're shivering," I noted, wrapping my cloak around her shoulders. "It's not from cold," Arya replied. "My powers, they're growing stronger here." Her purple glow intensified, pulsing like a heartbeat. "I can feel the truth of this place, the memories in the stone." She took my hands, her touch sending warmth through my body. "Look," she whispered. Suddenly visions flooded my mind. Not memories, but something deeper, more primal. The truth of our kingdoms united. The conspiracy that divided them. The bloodline that connected us all. You see it, don't you? Arya asked, her eyes searching mine. Yes, I answered, my voice breaking. Everything they told me was a lie. Her hands moved to my face. Not everything. She said softly. Some truths survive even the greatest deceptions. As the storm raged outside, we found shelter in each other's arms. Our bodies speaking what words could not, a language of touch and taste and whispered promises. Her skin glowed beneath my fingers, illuminating the darkness, the scars of my past fading against. The promise of her touch in that ancient temple as lightning split the sky and thunder shook the foundations of the earth. We forged something new. Something neither east nor west, but something entirely our own. Morning found us entwined, peaceful, despite the danger awaiting outside. But our moment of sanctuary could not last. Commander Rena's forces had surrounded the temple during the night. We need to face them, Arya said, determination hardening her voice. Not as fugitives, but as bearers of truth. I nodded, knowing she was right. Then we faced them together. Crimson Dawn Commander Rena stood at the temple entrance, a dozen guards flanking her. Surrender the Princess Kai, she called. Lord Thorn might still show mercy. I emerged from the shadows, Arya beside me, her hand in mine. There will be no surrender, I replied, but there will be truth. Rena's laugh echoed against stone. Truth is for philosophers, not soldiers. She drew her sword. Take them. Guards advanced, weapons ready, but something unexpected happened. Arya stepped forward, her purple glow intensifying until it bathed the entire clearing. Stop, she commanded, her voice carrying power I'd never heard before. See what they have hidden from you. Light pulsed from her fingertips, touching each soldier. Each one froze as visions similar to what I had experienced flowed through them. Images of the past, the real past, not the lies they had been fed. This is the magic they feared, Arya explained. Not destruction, but revelation. One by one, the guards lowered their weapons, confusion and anger dawning on their faces as centuries of deception unraveled before them. Only Rena remained unmoved, charging forward with a cry of rage. I met her blade with mine. It's over, Rena, I said as we circled. The lies end today. Fool, she spat. Order is maintained through control, through necessary deception. No, I countered, forcing her back. Peace is built on truth, on understanding. Our battle raged across the temple, ground steel against steel. But this time I fought with conviction, not duty, with purpose, not orders. Her superior strength met my absolute certainty. When my blade finally found its mark, piercing her shoulder, Rena fell to one knee. Finish it, she growled. That's what they trained you for. I sheathed my weapon. No, that's what they wanted me to become, a killer without question. I extended my hand. Choose differently, Rena. Choose truth. For a moment, hesitation crossed her face. Then slowly, she reached up her fingers, grasping mine. By midday, the temple had become a gathering place. Guards, messengers from the city, ordinary people drawn by rumors of revelation. Arya stood among them, her power touching each one, sharing the truth that had been hidden for generations. What happens now? I asked as we watched understanding dawn across countless faces. Now we rebuild, she replied, not as separate kingdoms, but as one people. Her hand found mine. Together. There will be resistance, I warned. Lord Thorn, the council, they won't surrender power easily. She smiled a smile that promised both challenge and hope. Then we'll face them, as we faced everything else. As the sun reached its zenith, Arya addressed the growing crowd. For too long we've been divided by lies, by manufactured hatred. Her voice carried across the clearing. Today we choose a different path. I stood beside her, no longer a shadow but a partner, no longer an assassin but a protector, the man who was sent to end her life, now dedicated to building a new one at her side. The eastern spires and western kingdoms were once one, she continued. And today we take the first step toward unity again. Dr. Chen arrived as afternoon faded, bringing news that spread like wildfire. The council is divided, he reported. Some call for your heads, others demand answers. Then we'll give them answers. I said, my decision made, we return to the capital, not as fugitives, but as truth-bearers. That evening, as stars appeared, above the ancient temple, Arya and I stood alone at its highest point. The kingdom spread before us a landscape of possibility. They ordered me to kill you, I said softly. Instead, you gave me life, and you gave me freedom. She replied, her fingers tracing the curve of my jaw. Some fates are written in stars, Kai, not in orders. Her lips met mine, sealing a promise that transcended duty and defied death, a promise of truth, of rebirth, of love born in the shadow of assassination. The purple glow of her skin illuminated us both, no longer marking her as different, but shining as a beacon of what might be. As dawn approached on the horizon, we stood together, facing not just a new day, but a new world. One we would build together, truth by truth, stone by stone, from ashes of deception, a kingdom reborn.